There is a number published every single month by the National Association of Realtors. Most Americans have never heard of it. It is called the Housing Affordability Index. And in February 2026, it just hit 78.3. That is the lowest reading since August 1985. Ronald Reagan was in his second term. A gallon of gas cost 86 cents. And apparently, that was the last time buying a home was this mathematically out of reach for the average American family. Here is what 78.3 actually means. Any score below 100 means the median income household does not qualify for a mortgage on a median-priced home. At 78.3, you need roughly 28% more income than you currently have just to get approved. And the gap between what families earn and what they need to qualify has widened from 12 points at the start of 2024 to 22 points today, in 1 year. That is not a trend. That is a collapse happening in slow motion. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly how this happened, what it is costing you in lifetime wealth, and where the math still works in 2026 if you know where to look.
Let us put this in plain language. Home prices are up approximately 50% since 2020. Incomes are up 29% in the same period. That 21 percentage point gap does not sound catastrophic until you run the actual monthly numbers. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, at the current 6.57% mortgage rate, a $400,000 loan costs you more than $2,550 per month. In 2021, when rates were at 3%, that exact same loan cost around $2,050. That is $500 more every single month for the same house you could have bought 5 years ago. Over 30 years, that difference compounds into something genuinely painful to calculate. And yet, here is the part that does not get enough attention. This did not happen overnight. The roots of this go back to 2008, when home building collapsed after the financial crisis and never fully recovered. Then 2021 arrived with 3% mortgage rates, and a buying frenzy pushed prices up 40% or more in dozens of markets. Then rates spiked, and now in 2026, tariff pass-through effects from 2025 are hitting building material costs at retail, making new construction more expensive exactly when buyers desperately need new supply. According to the Urban Institute, the U.S. is currently short approximately 4.5 million housing units relative to household demand. That shortfall was 2.1 million in 2018. So despite record construction years in 2021 and 2022, the hole got bigger, not smaller. This is a 15-year trap, and most people are standing in the middle of it without realizing it.
Let us talk about where this plays out on the ground, because national averages tend to hide the extremes on both ends. Los Angeles is the ceiling of unaffordability in America right now. According to Visual Capitalist citing Zillow data, buyers in LA need an annual income of $224,190 just to qualify for a mortgage on a median-priced home as of Q4 2025. That figure is nearly double pre-pandemic requirements in comparable markets. For context, the median household income in Los Angeles County sits well below that threshold, which means the majority of people who already live there, work there, pay taxes there, cannot buy there. LA is not a housing market anymore. It is a landlord's business model with a zip code attached. Now let us drive to Austin, Texas, which was supposed to be the relief valve, the pandemic boom town, the city where tech workers fled to escape California prices. According to Redfin, Austin has seen the biggest year-over-year decline in required income among the 50 metros analyzed, down 7.4%,
bringing the required salary to $112,175. The typical monthly housing payment sits at $3,191. That sounds like progress until you realize the median household income in Austin is still significantly below that threshold. Austin cooled, it did not fix itself. It is the false hope city. People moved there expecting affordability and found a market that was expensive before they arrived and is still expensive now, just slightly less so.
Then there is Rochester, New York. And Rochester deserves more attention than it gets. According to Realtor.com, Rochester was ranked the top city for first-time homebuyers in 2026, based on affordability, inventory, amenities, and the economic health of the surrounding area. The median listing price in Rochester sits dramatically below the national median of $399,900. A household earning a solid working or middle-class income can still qualify, still buy, still build equity. Rochester is not glamorous, but glamorous is not paying your mortgage. Numbers are paying your mortgage. Here is where this conversation shifts from housing to personal finance. Because the crisis is not just about whether you can buy, it is about what not buying is quietly doing to your financial future. According to Harvard Joint Center for Housing Studies, a record 22.6 million renter households were housing cost burdened in 2023, meaning they spent 30% or more of income on housing. The median asking rent for a two-bedroom apartment nationwide reached $2,187 in February 2026. That represents 42% of median household income. The conventional affordability threshold is 30%. So renting the average apartment in America today already breaks the rule that is supposed to protect your budget. And here is the number that should genuinely stop you in your tracks. According to data cited by NAR and financial analyst Graham Stephan, the average American family earning median income is currently $23,000 short of the income needed to qualify for a mortgage on a median-priced home. Not $5,000 short, not $10,000 short. $23,000 short. That is not a quick fix. That is a structural barrier. Meanwhile, the home price-to-income ratio currently sits at approximately 4.9, according to Realtor.com and WTW Research. In 1990, that ratio was 3.1. Incomes would need to grow by 58% just to return to 1990 levels of affordability, and wages are growing at a projected 3.4% in 2026. You can do that math yourself. So what does waiting actually cost you in real terms? Every year spent renting at $2,187 per month is over $26,000 gone, with no equity, no asset, no return. Over 10 years, that is more than $260,000 paid to a landlord, while home values in even mid-tier markets continue to appreciate. The wealth gap between homeowners and renters in America is not accidental, it is structural. And the longer the affordability crisis continues, the wider that gap becomes. So where does that leave you in 2026? With 3 realistic paths and 1 uncomfortable truth. The first path is buying in your current city if the numbers work. Run the actual calculation, not what you feel you can afford, what the bank will approve based on your income, your debt, and current rates. According to the Mortgage Bankers Association, first-time buyers now account for only 27% of the market, down from 34% in 2024. If you are in that group and the math is close,
close can sometimes be worked with. Talk to a lender before you assume the answer is no. The second path is relocation. Rochester is not the only Rochester. Cities like Birmingham, Toledo, and similar overlooked metros offer income-to-home price ratios that still function for median-earning households. If your job is remote or if your career is portable, the question worth asking is whether the city you are currently in is the reason you cannot own a home, because that is a question with a geographic solution, not a financial one. The third path is a deliberate waiting strategy, but only if you are investing the difference. Renting and waiting only makes financial sense if the money you are not putting into a down payment is working somewhere else. Sitting on cash while renting is the worst version of this plan.
The NAR Affordability Index at 78.3 is not just a number. It is a measurement of how far the market has drifted from the income reality of the people it is supposed to serve. The gap between home prices and incomes is the widest it has been in decades. The cities at the top of the affordability cliff, LA, San Francisco, New York, are not going to fix themselves on a timeline that helps you in 2026. But the cities at the other end of that spectrum, Rochester and markets like it, are real, they are functioning, and they are being largely ignored by people who are too focused on whether Austin has better brunch options. The question worth leaving you with is this: is the city you are currently living in worth what it is costing you in potential lifetime wealth? Not in lifestyle, in actual dollars over 20 to 30 years. Drop your answer in the comments, because that is a conversation worth having, honestly. And if this kind of data-driven breakdown is useful to you, you know where the subscribe button is. We'll be here when the next number drops.